Yes, guys, we're back. It's been a while. Not sure we can call this the Summer Diaries anymore. It's mid-September, the kids are back at school, routine is back to normal, and I'm feeling a bit of calm clarity as a result of that. So it's not the Summer Diaries. Maybe it's the Autumn Diaries. Maybe it's just back to our regular programming. But in either case, this episode is going to be in the same format as the ones I was doing through the summer. Short, unscripted, off the cuff. I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on in my world and within Mind and Matter Fitness. And then I'm just going to reflect a little bit on the benefits I have experienced as a result of slowing down a little bit through the summer. I hope you all had a great July and August. My experience was that I had a lot of time off and a lot of fun with my kids and my partner. We went on trips, we went on adventures, we spent a lot of money, and it was really nice. But it did mean that work was very fragmented for me, distracted. Now, I'm not going to complain about that. It's a trade-off I'm willing to make. One of the wonderful benefits of being self-employed is I've got the freedom to choose how I work. So intentionally taking a lot more time off through the summer so that I can be present and available for my kids, because the age they're at now, they love spending time with me. In 5 years' time, they're going to be out with their mates and they're not going to want anything to do with me through the summer. So I'm enjoying this time while I have it. And for a load of the guys within the Mind and Matter method, summer has been a difficult time to prioritize physique, health, training, nutrition, just with that change in routine or the lack of routine, needing to spend more time off work or juggling work and family commitments. And then it's natural that the gym or meal prep or checking in even for some clients has been deprioritized a little bit. But we are taking the opportunity together to reset, realign, and get focused for the rest of the year. We had our community back to school goal setting workshop a couple of weeks ago where we all came together on Zoom and reflected a little bit on the year so far, what's gone well, where there's room for improvement. We used plus minus next to assess the things that we want to do more of or keep doing, the things that we need to do less of, and what we will do next. We set some mini experiments for things that we might want to try as we move forward through the rest of the year. And I think more than that, more than the actual goal setting aspect of it, the benefit is just in coming together and doing this as a group support, a sense of shared purpose, which I think is really, really strong. And I believe the shared purpose is why the Mind and Matter Method community is so strong and is so valuable to the guys inside it, because it's that sense of working together towards a common set of goals and knowing that the struggle is real, but that you're not alone. And on those days where things are going well, you've got support to lift you up and celebrate your achievements. And on those times where things are not going so well, you've got support to help you get out of the funk that you are in and help you break through the inertia that you might be facing. So we did that. Then the next thing we are doing is the Back to School Fat Loss Community Challenge. Now, not everyone within Mind and Matter Fitness is on a fat loss journey at the moment, but many of the guys are. And this was this is just a really good opportunity for us to do something together. So we're going to have a 6-week fat loss challenge within the community, focused on training and nutrition and consistency, obviously, but also with weekly focus areas. So one week we might focus more on the nutrition side of things. Another week we might focus on activity outside of exercise. Another week we might introduce some high intensity interval training challenges. And there's going to be prizes along the way as well, just for a little bit of fun, a bit of shared focus, a bit more motivation. And there's a lot of enthusiasm within the group about that. And I'm excited. As I said in the community this week, I kind of wish I was in a fat loss phase myself, just because it's going to be a lot of fun. But, I will still be there guiding the guys through, supporting them, and trying to do as much as I can as well, even though I won't be in a calorie deficit. So really excited about that. Starting on the 22nd of September, if you are listening to this before that point and you are not a client, I've opened up 5 slots for people who might want to join for the challenge. If you're on my email list, you'll have the details of that in your inbox. If you're not on my email list, then why not? You can join. The link is in the show notes, and just drop me a message on Instagram and I will share all the details of that. Podcast. So I'm going to keep rolling with this format as we move forward through the rest of the year because I really enjoy it. I really enjoy that it feels more natural to just talk. It might not be as punchy or as effective as when I do the deeper episodes, but I think the variation is cool. I'm not only going to be doing that, I'm going to be doing more interviews as we move forward through the rest of the year. I've got some cool guests lined up. I've got a few clients lined up. Peter Sholton, who is one of my clients, we've been working together for about a year. He is a GP, and we are going to talk about testosterone replacement therapy and his opinions on that and my opinions on that. Andrew Dean, who is one of my clients who I've been working with for about 6 months now. And he's going to talk to me about what it's like trying to gain muscle and strength with type 1 diabetes. Richard Isles, who is one of my longest term clients, just to talk about his experience of working with me for 2 years and the process he has been through, going through different phases of losing fat, gaining muscle and strength, losing body fat, and how that has shaped the transformation that he's experienced with his physique. And I've got other people that I'm going to invite onto the podcast as well. If you know anyone, or if you are listening and you have a cool angle on something that will be relevant to the people who listen to this podcast, then please just drop me a line. I love doing interviews. It's great to have that variety of content type for people listening. And it's not all about me. So looking forward to getting into that a little bit more. I've spent the summer making some improvements to the processes within the Mind and Matter method, specifically around the focus and enlightenment phases of the program. So focus is the last ever fat loss phase in terms of helping somebody finish the fat loss and the diet once and for all. And the enlightenment phase is the flip side of that, which is more focused on strength, muscle, hypertrophy, performance, just to really keep motivation and focus high through those phases, because those aspects of this overall process can be long. They require patience. They require discipline. And what I was noticing, as I talked about in the last podcast episode, was these are the areas of the program where there's the biggest risk of drift. So really working with the guys who are going through that process now to realign on their goals, set some short-term 8-week sprint goals, get the motivation high, get the enthusiasm going. And that's worked really, really well. That was why I recorded that Call to Arms, Finish the Fucking Diet podcast in the first place. So lots more to come on that side of things. I'm always looking to make improvements to how things work, to the systems, to the processes. The 5-2 pseudo fat loss fasting protocol was something that we just tried in the community. It worked so well that it is now ingrained within the Mind and Matter Method anti-diet resources. So always working on taking client experience and client feedback and using it to improve the systems and improve the processes and help the guys that I work with get even better results in the quickest, most effective and most efficient way possible. And then the other thing that I have started working on that I'm very excited about is a custom GPT AI coach to support me within the Mind and Matter method. So something that my clients can use to answer questions, to solve problems, and to take some of the heavy lifting off their hands. So I'm focusing the first one specifically on nutrition, just focused on having a nutrition AI support coach, effectively. Toby AI, as one of my clients suggested I should call it. And to give you a few example use cases where I think this is going to be valuable. So firstly, setting up the anti-diet method. setting up the calories, the macros, and showing a client how they can incorporate different fasting protocols like 5-2 or 16-8, or how they can manipulate their daily calorie and macronutrient targets based on different preferences. So, for example, eating a bit more at weekends or eating a bit more on 3 or 4 training days a week, whatever it might be, just to take all of the maths and the work off my client's plate when it comes to doing that side of things. Advising clients on how to bust through fat loss plateaus using a systematic process that I use with clients anyway, to identify where a client might be stuck and to give them recommendations on where they can make improvements. Creating custom recipes and meal plans for clients based on their macronutrient and calorie targets. Answering common questions around things like supplements, gut health, protein, all of that kind of stuff. And I'm really excited about this. I've been working to create a knowledge base of all of my nutrition content from YouTube, videos, checking Q&As, all the resources that I currently have within the program, and getting them into a consistent format so that they can be ingested into a custom ChatGPT agent. And then I'll go through the process of testing that and refining it, and should be ready for clients to start using. I'm aiming for October half term, so end of October, which is very, very exciting, because what that does is, firstly, it takes time and effort away from clients, which is obviously beneficial, but it also levels up the knowledge and the quality of the conversations we have throughout the program. So it forces me to be better, because there's a difference between having a conversation with a client about should I take creatine, and a second or third order question around would creatine be useful for me to help with my cognition and focus. And that encourages me to level up my thinking, and it encourages clients to improve their agency and their autonomy and their knowledge and experience. And there are a few benefits of having that. Firstly, it takes time and effort away from clients. They can quickly get answers to questions. They can quickly use an AI agent to solve their problems, but in a way that is completely aligned with the philosophy of the Mind and Matter method. So it's my knowledge base. It's not just generic online bullshit. It's exactly the way that we do things. So they get quicker answers. They don't have to do any maths, and they will get ideas and support whenever they want it on demand. And then that has the knock-on effect of meaning that the interactions that each of my clients have with me and with each other are higher order. So the knowledge and experience and confidence that all of my clients have will increase, which means that we have deeper, richer conversations about not first order problems like how to get more protein, but third, fourth order problems around protein timing, or how much protein can I absorb in a meal, or should I be looking to manipulate some of these other variables to ensure that I achieve my goals and I can align my nutrition more effectively. And that's just the nutrition side of things. If it goes well, then the next one will be training, and then we'll look at how we expand it from there. But I'm very excited about that. It's actually taking way less work than I thought it would, because I'm using ChatGPT to normalize all of the inputs. You can just bang the transcript in from a YouTube video, and it will create a consistent format that I can put into a Google Doc. And then once I've got the knowledge library in the same format, I can just put all of that into the GPT agent and train it. Very exciting. So all of that is coming up as we move forward through the rest of the year. I have realized this week that I actually prefer this time of year to summer. October, November time is birthday season. So Lucy's birthday and mine are a week apart. End of October, start November. And we always do a lot of stuff around that time of year. In fact, I realized and said to Lucy earlier this week, we actually do more stuff in October and November than we do in the summer, don't we? So last year we went to Lisbon, and then we went to London to see Karangbin. The year before that we were in Rome for my birthday. This year, okay, we're not going abroad, but we're going to see Stuart Lee on my birthday. We're going to a spa retreat for Lucy's birthday. Then we've got Overmono at Alexandra Palace, and Loyal Carner in Newcastle City Hall, all in the space of a month. And dead exciting. And the other reason I love this time of year is because, yes, I love summer, and I'm happy to make the sacrifice around working less or work being a bit more distracted and not being as focused with things so I can spend more time with my kids and have more fun. But I really was craving that return to normality, the return of structure and routine, because I thrive on routine. And you can have too much of a good thing. You can have too much routine, but you can also have too much of the kids having no structure whatsoever. And they need that structure and routine in their lives as well. And they can say that they hate school or bloody hell, we have to go back to school or whatever. But really, I know they enjoy it because they come out of school happy. They enjoy the weekends. They enjoy seeing their friends. And they need to be cognitively challenged. And the same is true for me and for you. So I was really excited about the return of normality. And this week has been the first week where I've really managed to get back into proper flow with work. The last 2 years I've done that summer slowdown where effectively I work 50% of the time. The kids through the summer are with me the first half of the week, then with their mum the second half of the week, and then we alternate weekends. So Monday to Wednesday-ish, I was not doing a lot of work, and then Thursday, Friday, I would clean up for the week. And effectively, you can split my work into two categories. You've got operational work, which is clients, coaching, check-ins, programs, reviews, updates, teaching, all of that kind of stuff. Then the other side of things, apart from the operational stuff, is what you could call strategic work or creative work, which is creating new products, finding innovative and novel solutions to complicated problems, writing, podcasting, content creation, that side of stuff. So the way that I've done the summer slowdown for the last 2 years is I just cut all of that stuff, either deprioritize it completely in the case of new projects or new products, or I really slow down in the case of things like podcasts and emails. I wrote 2 podcasts. I wrote 2 emails in 3 weeks, I think, whereas when I'm in flow, I will write 3 or 4 emails a week. And all the operational stuff takes priority. So still do all that stuff so my clients get taken care of and they effectively don't even know that I'm not working as much because it doesn't have any impact on their experience, which is good. And I'm so grateful to have that opportunity. And it's a real example of me taking advantage of the freedoms that I've created by transitioning from my old life to this one. But it does leave me in a fragmented state, distracted and a little bit frustrated at times because I want to be doing that creative work. I want to be finding better ways to solve problems for my clients and create new products. That's the side of work that really lights a fire in me and excites me and challenges me cognitively. But there are some profound benefits that I experienced this year that I didn't get last year. So last year, I just felt like a cool feature that I could take advantage of because I'd created the opportunity to do it. This year, it was different. So yes, there was that frustration, but there was also a sense of being more present and more available for my kids, which is really valuable. But it was something more. And it was that as we approached the end of August, I noticed that I was way more in tune with my emotions and my thoughts than I think I can ever remember being. Like I was noticing emotions inside me as an impartial observer. So, for example, I could sense the excitement and enthusiasm I was starting to feel when I was thinking about getting back into work mode and planning ahead for September and beyond. And I could sense the gratitude that I was feeling when I was having an interesting or a funny conversation with one or both of my kids. And I even noticed the resistance I was facing to making difficult decisions. So what I like to do is, if I'm thinking about a complicated problem that I'm looking to solve, just go for a walk without any external stimulus from music or podcasts or whatever, just with my thoughts, play over a few different options for solving said problem, and just letting my subconscious and just letting my default mode network process the thoughts and come up with the best answer. And I was noticing that when I was playing with a few options around a problem I was facing, the easy option of procrastinating on it felt desirable. I felt the kind of relief inside me. Oh, yes, just choose that option. Push it down the road. Don't solve it now. Just deal with it in 3 months. And I was able to notice that. I was able to catch myself and go, oh, wait, that's obviously not the best thing to do because you're just creating a new problem for yourself in 3 months. But it feels nice to do that in the moment because it takes the pain away. And that's such a superpower to be able to notice that and then be able to come up with a better solution that, yes, might have involved a more difficult decision in the moment or a more difficult conversation, but long term is much more aligned to what I want to achieve, my goals, my aims, and my quality of life. And it also just gives you a sense of presence and intention in the moment that I can't remember experiencing to such an acute extent before. And that's really helped me transition back into flow with a more positive, focused, and creative mindset. So I spent Monday this week, the first Monday I've properly worked for 2 months, writing emails. And it felt fantastic to be being that creative. I was loving the writing process. It felt fun as I was writing the emails. And if it feels fun for me to write, then it will feel fun for the reader as well. So the emails that are coming out today, Friday, the 12th of September, tomorrow, Saturday, the 13th, Monday, the 15th, were all written in that state of creative flow and positivity and enthusiasm that I think comes across when I'm rereading them. It's not just email. They will be repurposed to social media posts as well. So everybody will see them. Well, not everybody, because the Instagram algorithm sucks. Lots of people will see them. And that felt amazing. And the other benefit of slowing down has been that it helped me to see what I have been craving and what I need more of in my life. And there are two things that stood out. The first is that I've got a strong desire for more creative expression. And not just creative expression, creativity without a functional goal in mind, because so much of what I do is functional. Even the creative work in the business, emails, podcast, products, projects, they're all with a functional purpose, right? And so much of my life is functional. Gym, healthy diet, sleep, routine. It's all kind of very functional. Now, there are some things in my life that are completely done just for the joy of it. I mentioned a couple of gigs that I'm going to in November, or trips that we're going on. That is like just pure joy, pure fun, pure adventure. There's no outcome in mind other than enjoy it, have fun. Football is another area where ultimately football is a pointless pursuit, but where else in your life do you get that sense of joy and surprise and unpredictability? That's why I love it. But outside of that, everything in my life is very functional. So knowing that I was seeking more creative expression, I realized that what I wanted to do was to write more. So I'm in the process of setting up a Substack where I am going to write on the topic of work. So my experience in work, more generally, people's relationships and attitudes towards work, technology, AI, how we can live more aligned and intentional lives. That side of things that is not related to Mind and Matter Fitness, but is another area of my life that I'm incredibly passionate about, curious about, and interested in. I'm almost finished my first article. It's a very different process, writing long form, than it is writing an email. I'm sharing drafts with David Nightcroft, who you might remember has been on this podcast, who is an experienced writer and Substacker and has actually just finished his novel. And his Substack is fantastic. Elsewhere Underwritten, if you want to go find it. He's been helping me, reviewing, providing feedback. So thank you, David. I know you might be listening to this. And I can just feel the enthusiasm that I have for that work. I keep thinking about it. I keep thinking, I can write about that. Oh, that's a really good angle for an article. I can write more about my experience of leaving my corporate life and transitioning into business ownership, and the ways in which even now I don't necessarily feel like I'm following the path I want to in some ways, or the ways in which I align and then don't align with the solo entrepreneur online coach space. Just like I didn't feel like I belonged in the 9 to 5 space. Now I'm definitely much more aligned now, but there are still some ways in which maybe there's a misalignment between the default path for online business owners and what I think I want to achieve. And just being able to express myself freely in that format is so exciting. So that's one thing. And we'll obviously share more information about that for anybody interested as the time comes. There's nothing to monetize. There's no extrinsic gain from me doing that. It's purely for creative expression and the joy of it, which is fantastic. And the other one is disrupting the status quo. I spend a lot of my time in this room. And if I'm not in this room, I'm in the kitchen, working and living. The lines between home and work are very blurred because it all happens in one space. The gym's 5 minutes down the road. It's a very small area in which I live a large percentage of my life. So the other thing I've been craving is disrupting the status quo, working in different environments, going to different places. And again, that's something that I'm now actively taking a role in doing something about, front of mind, weekly basis. Have I disrupted the status quo, and how? So I'm just squeezing this podcast in on a Friday morning before I go and meet a fellow coach who I've known online for a while but never met in person in Newcastle for lunch. And I'm excited about doing that. Just more face-to-face interaction, more analog experience instead of digital, getting away from screens a bit more, going to different places, talking about business, talking about ideas, things that I love talking about. So I'm really excited to do that, and I need to do more of that. Even if it is just me taking my laptop and writing in a different place, like a coffee shop or somewhere different. There's lots of cool places to go around here, and I do not take advantage of that. I want to meet up with people more, for sure, and just do more things like that. So the benefits of slowing down were not just working less, but there were the ways in which that it created more awareness and metacognition that has allowed me to make more aligned choices and set my purpose in a way that I want to as we move into September and beyond. And the other benefit is sometimes the most productive thing you can do is slow down, because I am fired up, I am focused, and there is no way you can maintain that level of enthusiasm and focus throughout the year. So intentionally finding the times in your year where you're going to just chill out a little bit. For me, it's just like chill the fuck out a bit. Don't feel like you have to constantly be selling, growing, making progress with everything. And obviously I'm talking here about business, but you're an intelligent person. You know that the same can apply for any other activity or project that you have, including your health and physique goals, including projects you might be working on, including side hustles, whatever it might be. But you can't just get after it all year round. There are times when you just need to think, this is an opportunity to slow down. And you should intentionally plan for those and take advantage of them. So now for the first time this year, I've blocked out the half terms in my calendar for school, and they are the weeks in which I'm going to go, this is a massive slowdown week. It's only 3 weeks because through the 2-week holidays or the longer holidays, I will still be working. But those weeks are an opportunity for me just to take stock. And that means I'm better at everything. It means I'm a better coach. It means I can serve my clients better. It means I'm better at doing the things that matter in my work. It means I'm a better father, a better partner, a better friend, a better son, everything else. Slowing down is not only about slowing down, but it's about how that can make the acceleration all that much more effective and efficient and enjoyable. That was good. Enjoyed getting back into it. Next episode is going to be a little update on TRT. And particularly, I'm going to talk about the dark side of TRT. I've been putting off doing that episode, but it needs to happen. And in the meantime, I hope you are fired up and focused for the rest of the year. Let's get after it, and we'll talk soon. Take care.